Yeah, the latest briefing, Frank, was about 30 minutes ago or so. We're now getting word that there's 12 people dead, including a sheriff's sergeant that was on that department for almost 30 years, plus the shooter. At first, we were hearing from the mayor that he was, quote, engaged and neutralized with sheriff's deputies, but now those deputies are saying when they walked in, he already had a gunshot and was, quote, down. So we're still looking pretty much at an active scene there at the Borderline Bar and Grill in Thousand Oaks, California. And the sounds you're hearing there, some of the gunshots that deputies heard as they arrived on scene. The first gunshots, by the way, they were just reported after 11 p.m. Pacific time. And so we're talking just after 2 a.m. our time. Deputies inside right now. Last we heard they were doing some kind of search and rescue operation. They stopped short of basically saying that that shooter was any kind of race or age. They haven't really given us any details about that. Witnesses said that man walked into the bar, shot a security guard first, then a woman, and then they say he threw smoke bombs and just continued shooting.
We just heard people say run, and we booked it as fast as we could.
All of a sudden, everyone screamed, "Get down." So everyone on the dance floor ran off the dance floor and ducked behind something or dogpiled on the floor somewhere.
Now, patrons said they heard at least 30 gunshots before deputies arrived. One of the first deputies on scene, again, that was one of the sheriff's deputies that was shot, was rushed to a nearby hospital. And now we're hearing he has, in fact, passed away. Again, the latest coming in right now, that shooter reportedly dead after shooting at least 12 other people, several other injured, by the way. At this point, we're hearing 10 to 15 other injuries, most of those from people trying to run away from that scene. Again, you heard they were trying to break these windows to try and get out. The sheriff's office saying it was a horrific scene, that there's a lot of blood inside right now. They only found one handgun on scene, so they're trying to piece together exactly what happened, especially because there were so many gunshots. At this point, deputies are in fact calling this a mass shooting, Frank. Data shows it marks the 298th this year alone.
Department of Public Works, I don't know if Kyle was able to say this, saying now that they have 12 trucks out and that they've been out since midnight. But I just talked to some crews that were throwing down salt. They've been through several of these large bags so far, trying to treat nearby parking lots and sidewalks. And they admitted that they got out fairly late, that they didn't get out until 3 o'clock this morning, which was essentially too late to treat some of those conditions because of the spotty, slick areas. When you walk out to your car this morning, you know, it doesn't look all that bad. You might find a little bit of frost on your windshield, kind of like this here. But once you get out on the roads, you look at it and you're like, okay, well, it's just wet. There's not a lot of snow out here, but the icy conditions are what we are watching a very close eye on. People really slowing down this morning as they head to work, and for good reason. We have heard from several counties so far. Overnight, Boone County reporting slow driving, that roads are treacherous there, including 865. Johnson County reporting the roads there are, quote, treacherous. They've already had a few slide-offs, accidents. Bartholomew, the roads are slick there. Morgan County slide-offs, and then in Speedway, slick with specific problems along High School Road, Lyndhurst, and then also Crawfordsville. Now, Frank, you were talking earlier about Hamilton County. Hamilton, along with Hancock, Bartholomew, Delaware specifically, some of the better areas that we saw this morning, really not a lot of problems. But again, it's very spotty out there. So you may be headed out of your neighborhood and everything's good, but once you hit a street, say 71st, you're going to be sliding through intersections, your brake system going kaput. We'd love to know what you're seeing if you hit some of those roads that are a little bit iffy. Once you get to work safely, please share some of those spots on our CBS 4 Indy Facebook page. We can't be everywhere at once, so we'd love to hear from you and help some of our other viewers out as well. We'll send it back to you in the studio. Angela and Frank, we are live outside the memorial, live outside the sheriff's office right now, where we're seeing several people show up ahead of the procession to pay their respects. And you can see people taking photographs of this growing memorial, where we have a lot of bouquets of flowers, photos of Deputy Jacob Pickett, his canine brick there. I want to show you what I'm seeing. Chad, come with me if you can. A lot of this is just so touching. I mean, we have growing mountains of flowers, but I think what really has hit me most are the cards and the signs that preschools have made, that children are sending and making for them. There's this one back here, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to show you. where these children put their handprints on a sign. This was obviously made by a classroom, and that will be forwarded to the family. There's stuffed animals for the children, treats as well for that canine brick. All morning long, we've been talking to people who have been bringing even their children out here, saying it's really just about paying their respects, that, you know, they're trying to keep the family in mind here. A little about that procession. This is the area, this is the post where we're going to hear that final dispatch. And Angela and Frank, I've covered many of these. This is probably arguably one of the more emotional parts, at least for me, during an officer's funeral. We are understanding that the procession is going to be coming from this direction here, and as you mentioned, it is fairly long, and stopping right in front of this memorial. That procession, the hearse in front, the family also nearby, thousands of people lining the road here, and it's at that point that a dispatcher will come over the radio, give Deputy Pickett's call sign. When he expectedly does not answer, that dispatcher will come back over. You may hear some tones. It's a little bit different depending on the department. We may hear a moment of silence. That dispatcher may also give some final remarks of the deputy himself, the sacrifice that he made in this instance, and then they'll give that end of watch time and say something along the lines of "gone but not forgotten." And again, that is going to be a very somber moment out here in Boone County, something that we've seen, a tradition for decades, since the 1950s. All of the vehicles today expected to have black flags flying as well. It will be a very quiet day out here, I'm sure.
She came at 24 weeks.
My mind was racing.
She was 1 pound and 6 ounces.
I didn't think that she could make it.
What's in a song?
Hi, singing. My baby is about to be gone.
Rhythm, soul, a beat.
A heartbeat.
For Alexis Jones and DeJour Blackman and hundreds of other families leaving this hospital without their child,
It is hard.
it's meant hope.
And I really like to use the Doppler.
Music therapists recording patients' heartbeats and turning them into a song.
We want to create positive memories in this stressful place so that they have something besides fear to look back on. It's proof that their child was alive, that they were here on this earth, and that they made an impact.
A meaningful gift.
They want everything they can get to remember their child.
Sweet sounds.
Thank you, Mama.
One that is everlasting.
Have something to remember her by. It's soothing to know that we would have had that.
Well, some families choose to write their own song. Jones and Blackman chose to match their baby's heartbeat to the Daredevil theme song.
She surprised all of us. She's constantly fighting obstacles and stuff since she's been born. It's kind of Daredevil. That's all he does. He's a blind superhero.
This family is one of the lucky ones.
Out of nowhere, we had a big old turnaround.
As soon as the music therapist was about to finish that keepsake, 7-month-old Denaria overcame the odds.
We're on our way home.
This new family,
You gotta go see the world, okay?
using their special song as a reminder
She's just like Daredevil.
that with faith, anything is possible. Angela Brauer, CBS 4 News.
Yeah, this is how we carve it out too. We keep it carved out.
This is Indiana's very own ice tree.
It's an anchor to my winter time.
It started in 1961 when Janet here was just a kid.
My mom grew up with 4 brothers, and they wanted to go sledding one winter. And so my grandpa was like, well, we don't have snow, I'll just make an ice hill. And one night the wind blew the water coming out from the hose onto a honeysuckle bush. And in the morning, he was like, oh wow, this is really cool. It's just a big ice bush. Let's keep building on top of this.
57 years later, the family continues their well-known winter tradition, making the base out of 2x4s and then adding more and more tree limbs every single day.
We'll do it in a strategic way so that we can create like a trail that goes up the ice. The color, my mom does all the color, and she takes powdered food coloring and she puts it in a container, and then the container connects to a hose. Red, blue, green, purple. The year that the Colts were here playing for the Super Bowl, we did it all blue.
This year, the tree is bigger and better than ever, especially since it's been such a cold season so far. People coming from other states and countries to check it out and take photos, but only a select few getting to climb it.
Here's a hatchet for you just in case.
Thank you.
Make it easier to climb.
Things no one has ever said to me. Here's a hatchet, just in case.
And then this is sturdy, so you can grab onto it.
So I've definitely decided that this is pretty much as high as I'm gonna go. This thing goes 42 feet, and this is only in a matter of a month. The Veal family turning a wintertime hobby into an art that you and your family can not only enjoy for years to come, but a free attraction that you can learn from.
There's our message of finding good things out of what might be hard times. Winters are difficult. Driving, staying warm, paying the electric bill or the heat gas bill. It is difficult, but good things can come out of it.
And I was just saying, they are the sweetest family, Frank. They
Yeah.
were so fun to talk to and be with.
And the fact that you had that opportunity to climb it. I didn't know it was possible to climb it. It looks
I
kind of
didn't either.
dangerous. I was concerned when you told me.
So the first thing I'm thinking this morning, my mom's in town.
Right. You don't
She's
want to be
not
hurt
gonna
when
be
mom's in town.
happy seeing that story, and she's gonna be like, "You did what?" But Winter took me up there. She gave me the hatchet. We had chains on our shoes, so we were safe about it.
A seemingly confusing four-way stop at US 36 and County Road 300 in Danville. People trying to get to work and school speeding down this four-lane highway.
People, a lot of times you'll hear them down here just flying through the intersection down through here.
And rushing to make a left turn.
They don't hardly stop.
Crash after crash.
I think people just need to pay attention and not be in a hurry.
Residents and drivers say this interchange is unsafe. The most recent incident a couple weeks ago when a car flipped over, a whole family inside. A couple months ago, this serious crash as well involving a high school senior. She was rushed to the hospital with a broken back, a broken sternum, and a brain bleed.
It seems like about every other week there's a wreck down here, and they're always bad ones.
So we drove through the area to see for ourselves.
So there are a couple problems with this intersection. First of all, these railroad tracks. Do you stop before? Do you stop after? Or both? And then there's the highway. It's really difficult to pass through, especially with everyone speeding by.
The speed limit, 55 miles an hour, but people seem to go much faster than that. People often driving into the middle of the median there to wait and then make it all the way across. We reached out to INDOT right away.
Our traffic investigations engineer sets up a camera.
They did a traffic study, and those engineers were admittedly shocked. They said the traffic volume alone qualified that intersection for a traffic signal, let alone how many turns people make in a day and how many crashes have happened in recent years. INDOT saying within the next 12 months, there will be a traffic light at US 36 and County Road 300.
I'm holding you to that.
Okay. Homeowners nearby relieved and confident that light will make all the difference.
I'm just thankful that you guys helped out and got that. I mean, it's going to save some lives.
So there is a little bit of a process that has to happen here. First, Frank, INDOT has to include that proposal in a contract, and then companies have to bid on it, and then that work will begin. For the CBS 4 Problem Solvers, I'm Angela Brauer, CBS 4 News. One thing officers keep saying here is about this woman in black is that she has a, quote, distinct walk. She's on a mission, right?
Oh,
there.
yeah.
And so they're pointing that out. That couple who's in their 70s, I mean, come on. They're walking to their car right there. You see where that woman walks up to them. She steals that woman's purse, runs off, and it's right there that she actually hops in the vehicle, that black sedan. She jumps through the rear window.
She wanted that purse.
Exactly. Police say it happened in the middle of the afternoon on Sunday, the mall along South Reed Road where the Target and CVS stores are. That couple, again, ages 70 and 71. If the robber is willing to attack them, what else is she willing to do? Police didn't release a description of the woman responsible here. Just again, that she was wearing all black, that she got into that black Chevrolet Impala or maybe a Malibu. They say that getaway car had a fin on the trunk. So that's something to look out for. If you know anything about this crime, about who these people are, call Crime Stoppers right away. Frank, police are saying our viewers can remain anonymous.